All right, before getting to know me, we're gonna get to know my coach, Eugene Bareman. Right, I've got a list of questions, so I'm gonna ask you one by one. You ready?
Fire it.
All right. Where are you from, bro?
I'm from New Zealand, so I'm a Kiwi, but I'm also from Samoa because my mum's Samoan, and I'm from Holland because my dad's Dutch.
All right. Good mixture. All right. Tell us about your family and your upbringing.
I got a wonderful family, like a wonderful mum, a great dad, a dad who provided everything I needed, a mum who looked after me. They taught me, they gave me great ethics, great morals, and yeah, I grew up the Kiwi way. I'm not going to say I grew up the Samoan way or the Dutch way. I definitely grew up as a Kiwi kid.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up? Out west?
Yeah, I'm born and bred, and was born in Waitakere Hospital. Proud to be from Massey, went to Massey High School.
Hey, look at me. That's my hood now.
Massey Rugby Club. I know you live in Massey now,
That's my hood now.
part of the reason you live in Massey is because I literally live in Massey.
Sorry. No. Yeah. You can bleep that out. Yeah, easy as. All right. When did you first get involved in martial arts and why?
1999 is the first year I walked into a kickboxing gym.
Good year.
And I got a martial arts because I got frustrated with rugby, but I thought I was good at rugby, and some coaches thought I wasn't. And I was young and dumb and stupid, and they didn't choose me for a team, and I spat the dummy, being young and immature. And I was like, well, bugger this, then I'll go and do something else. And I just happened to choose Lolo Heimuli's Balmoral Liga kickboxing gym, and then once I walked in there, I never stepped on the rugby field again. I fell in love with the sport.
Nice.
Yeah.
When did you think about opening a gym or starting CKB up, City Kickboxing Gym?
Yeah, 2007 we opened, so that's when Doug came to me and asked if I wanted to start a gym with him.
All right, what was your first response to that when he asked you?
I was apprehensive. I didn't want to go into business. I was in my early 20s and playing it safe, like going to university and trying to do what everybody else, wanted me to do. So initially I said, nah, I don't want to start a gym and go into business on my own. But Doug being Doug, he just pestered me, as you know, and then eventually I changed my mind. So 2007 we started.
Shout out to Doug. So why did you want to be a coach?
The short answer to that is I didn't want to be a coach. I wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah.
What happened when we opened the gym, we did it so that me and Doug could train fitness people and make money off them, and that we can train ourselves and become fighters and successful fighters. But Doug had a big reputation, and more people wanted to learn to fight, and more fighters came to the gym. And then before you know it, we're training 15 or 20 fighters. And then it just snowballed into what it is today. To be honest, only in the last probably year or two, I'm getting a bit more comfortable being a coach.
Yeah.
Because my identity is wrapped up with being a fighter. I want to be a fighter.
You still got two more, you said. 2 more or 1 more?
I got 2 more fights. I think I can do 2 more. Why
That's your
stop?
50.
Why stop at 48?
That's your 50. All right.
Why stop at 48 when you can get to 50, right?
All right. Okay. What do you enjoy most about coaching?
What I enjoy most is the process of someone coming to you, like yourself, setting a goal, saying this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go, and then just attacking it. And all the trials and tribulations that come with attacking it, and then being successful, and that feeling of putting in all that effort, and then that feeling of success.
Yeah. 10 years strong. I still remember when I rolled up to the gym, I think you were with Hiba? Is that her name?
Yeah, Hiba,
yeah. You guys were on the couch just yawning. Then you see me, you look like you saw a ghost. Like, what are you doing here? I was like, I came to train. You're like, oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, well, you got to let everybody know that was because I met you about a month before that.
Yep. In an amateur fight at the ABA.
I cornered him in a fight. I didn't know who he was, but a friend asked me to help corner him, and he absolutely got his ass kicked.
It was all right.
So after the fight, we shook hands and then we parted ways. So I never expected to see him again. So when he walked in, I was really surprised. And then
persistence.
When he said he wanted to train, my last memory of him was him getting his ass kicked. So
I wouldn't say ass kicked. I said like, I got taken down a lot. I worked him on the stand-up, but it's hard to do any stand-up when you're on your back for about 2/3 of the fight. So yeah, I got my ass kicked. All right, next question, whatever. Next question. What are the highlights of the gym so far?
There's the obvious ones like you, Alex, Dan, Brad. There's all those obvious ones, but there's a whole lot of people in this gym that this gym's affected, and their wins to them has just been just as magnificent as your win.
Yeah.
And it's been people that have just had all their only goal was just to have one fight and get over the anxiety of being in public and building themselves up for this moment and going through it and doing it. Like, to them and to me, that has had the same feeling as it did when we stood there and won the belt.
Yeah.
Like, it's all
relative.
It's all relative to who you are. Like a win for one person, it's not any different to your win.
100%.
It's all success. So yes, there's the obvious ones, but then there's a lot of stories in the gym that people don't hear about, which it's been a pleasure to be a part of their story too and their success.
Beautiful. So the gym has grown a lot since its humble beginnings. What were the struggles you had to face along the way? What were the roadblocks you had to face along the way getting to where we are now?
Well, the obvious one when we started was just finance. Like, we just didn't have enough money to run the gym, and what a lot of people don't know is that this business lost money for the first 5 or 6 years. We ran at a loss. You can ask my accountant. The great thing about running at a loss is you don't pay much taxes, but the bad thing is you're not making much money. So what got us through those times is just passion. Like, me and Doug, we weren't making any money, but we loved what we were doing, so we just stuck to it. And then eventually, by the 6th and 7th year, we started to make a little bit of money. Then the next year we made a little bit more. And then now we're in a position now where both of our families are able to be supported by the income we make from the gym. So that was the biggest struggle when we started. And things are a bit different nowadays, but you just have to always keep in mind where we came from.
100%. Stay broke, stay woke.
Yeah.
All right. So this gym, our gym, is ranked one of the best in the world 2 years running. Was that always a goal?
I'm going to say it wasn't a goal to be the #1 gym in the world. The other goals kind of created that happening. So the goal was to make you guys as successful as we can, and I thought we could be where we are now. I thought we could get there, but always, and everybody has their doubts. Like, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, is this possible? Can I do this in my lifetime? I know we have the coaches. I know we have the resources to do it.
Knowledge.
But there's always that doubt in your mind. Can we do it? So the goal was just to, make you guys, and not just you guys, all the guys below you, and it's still the goal now. To just make you guys as best combat athletes as we possibly can. And as a result of that goal, what's happened is our work's been recognised, and other people have an opinion that at the moment we're the best gym in the world.
I see a lot of new faces constantly. I can list like 5 different countries: Germany, Finland, Thailand, America. A lot of guys coming in now, so it definitely shows you like instead of people going to like America to go train, a lot of people from there coming over here now trying to train with us because they see what the fruits of our labor is. So that's good to see. I like that for the most part, apart from sparring days sometimes. But it's all right. How do you identify a fighter who has the capabilities of being a world champion?
That's very difficult, to be honest, and that has to be done over quite a lengthy period of time. First and foremost, I look for their attitude.
Taringas.
Yeah, but more their attitude, their passion.
Yeah.
Like what they have, the love that they have for the sport. Because you can do something with that. If they're not the most skillful person or the most athletic person, well, there's many things we can do to, like rectify that.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the passion for it, if you aren't going to get up early in the morning and run and do all of the difficult things, the things that you have to be highly motivated for, then how can
early?
Yeah, how can I help you? So I always look for that first and foremost. And then obviously if guys have a little bit of athleticism and they have good eyes and stuff, then that comes into it later. But yeah, I mean, the only way I can find out that is just getting to know the guy. That's why I'm always take the approach that I will always be able to do the best job training someone if they're my friend. Because when you have a friendship with someone, you know them. It's not a business relationship.
Yeah.
It's a friendship, and I can do the best job if I know the inner workings of their mind and what's in their heart. So that's always my philosophy. Like, I will always be able to do the best job. If I'm going to train you, you have to be a mate of mine. Yeah, and you're just scraping your.
Fuck off.
So who are you and where are you from?
My name is Israel Adesanya, and I am residing in New Zealand. I'm a black Kiwi, and the black side comes from Nigeria, Lagos City.
Awesome.
Very awesome. I know he's gonna try and punk me, but I'm ready for him. I'm ready for him.
What was it like living in Nigeria with a silver spoon up your ass?
Well, I was about to give a good answer.
Because like in Nigeria, he's like, yeah, in Nigeria I had maids that used to like work for me and change my nappy and shit. And
Yeah, I did. It's facts.
Yeah, it's facts, see?
I learned. I
Anyway,
learned hard work.
So what was life like growing up in Nigeria?
Life for me in Nigeria was easy. It was easy. It was only hard a little bit because I wasn't doing well in school, and my parents sent me to go live with my teacher for a little bit, and I only came home on the weekends. So that's when I really got to know what the other side lived like. But for me, relatively, life was good. Loving parents, beautiful family. It was all bed of roses.
Good to hear. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing and maybe a little bit about your family.
My upbringing was pretty standard Nigerian parent upbringing. You have to either be a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, or a disappointment. And I was the latter in the beginning because, like I said, I wasn't really doing too well in school. And yeah, I got a lot of discipline for that. And the old Nigerian discipline was similar to the Samoan discipline, I'm sure. The jandal, printer cable, the canes, if you will. And yeah, I had to learn the hard way on certain things, but like I said, my parents made life very, very easy for me in respect to living. I never had to suffer or anything, but I suffered when I didn't get my marks up high. Definitely did. I'm pretty sure that's where a lot of my athleticism comes from, is doing things like stooling down or doing the motorbike against the wall for an hour. You don't get legs like this without being punished a lot. Yeah.
And how many? And you have siblings?
Yes, I'm the guinea pig, so I'm the test baby. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah.
So I'm the first of
You're the oldest?
5. Yeah, I'm the oldest of five siblings.
Yeah. What's their names?
I've got Deborah, who's the second in charge, then David, Sheyi, and Bolu. And yeah, I'm the one that paved the way because up in life, so they didn't have to. But I'm doing all right now. Yeah.
I
I'm a
messed
good
up.
fuck up.
I messed up in life.
Oh no!
Freaking kids television.
Oh, you can beep that. I can beep that. Oh, I forget. Sorry, I'm an adult. Yes. I was like, why are you shaking your head? That was a good answer.
It's the if.
I realize.
So when did your family move from Nigeria, and was there any particular reason why they came to New Zealand?
We moved from Nigeria in 2001, October, and that's when we first came to New Zealand, pretty much for better recognized tertiary education. You know, you see a lot of, for example, I use like dairy owners or taxi drivers who come from Sri Lanka or India or something, and they are medical doctors back home, but their degrees not recognized in the Western world. So my parents wanted us to have a degree, or a bachelor's degree or master's degree that's recognized in the Western world and worldwide. So that was pretty much the main reason, was for better recognized education.
Awesome. And are you a university dropout like I am?
Yes. I am.
But we got our degree in something else, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, an ass kicking. Hey, that's the best.
How did you get into martial arts?
How did I get into martial arts? Well, I did Taekwondo as a kid back in Nigeria. I was about to get my yellow belt, literally about, say, 3 weeks from my yellow belt. Then my mom decided, nah, you're a nuisance in the house. I'm doing backflips off the couch, breaking my arm, kicking vases, breaking windows. It was really good, but she didn't think so. But look at me now, Mom. Yeah, so after that, I stopped and I became a dancer for a while, for years actually. One of the best, remember that? I told him about that when I first met him. He never believed me till in Tauranga one time someone ran up on me and was like, "Oh, you're that guy, yeah, Black Magic." And then he was like, "Nah, you paid him to say that." And I was like, no, this is legit.
Black Magic was your dance name.
Exactly, exactly. I remember I told him about it, he never believed me. But then after that, I found the movie, I'm sure you've seen it, Ong Bak. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ong Bak was the movie I saw that introduced me to Muay Thai. And I was like, man, this looks cool. Like, I want to be able to fight like this guy because it looks realistic. And then in Wanganui one night, on a drunken night out, I met Kyle Gallagher, who's a 6'9" legend of Wanganui. So from there, he just introduced me to my early on coach.
He was a fighter?
Yeah, he was a fighter as well. Still is. Yeah. But he's more of a promoter now and a holistic guru in a way. But yeah, shout out to Kyle. And then the rest was history from there.
How did we meet?
Oh God, how did we meet? Well, we met through Denny, I believe, who was a former member of CKB before I got introduced to you. I think I found this fight on Facebook for ICNZ. I literally just went on the page and I asked for a fight and it got me a fight. And then my first coach was really apprehensive. He was like, nah, you gotta stick to Muay Thai. This is where it's about, da-da-da. He wanted me to be like him. But then Denny and myself and Dion and Sam drove up to Auckland. And then Denny was like, I know a guy who used to coach me. He might help you out for the fight. And that's how we roped them into it. And he didn't even know what he was getting into.
that was the infamous amateur fight where you kept getting taken down.
Yeah.
So we met before that, basically.
Yeah. Oh no, we didn't meet. No, that was in Whangarei. We didn't meet that night. That was there was a fight in Whangarei where Kara first saw me and Diamond first saw me.
Yeah,
but we didn't meet. We didn't meet. I think you and I saw Solomon and them training backstage. I probably saw you guys, but I didn't meet you guys then.
Okay.
But yeah, we met properly in 2009 around December. Yeah, before the fight. Like I think the day before the fight.
Was it? Yeah.
You were on crutches. So I remember that. Yeah, it was the day before the fight.
There you go.
Now we're like this.
So what were your first impressions of me and Doug?
Of you and Doug? Well, Doug, when I first came to the gym, wasn't really at the gym. He was in Vegas, still fighting, doing it big. Of you, I thought, I didn't know if you were joking or not because you asked a lot of questions with a straight face. And then you'd be like, I'm joking. I'm like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And eventually I kind of realized your sense of humor. It wasn't very funny. It was just a lot of seriousness until you get to know him a little bit. Then he insults you a lot and thinks it's funny, but it's not. Doug, on the other hand, met him, he was nice to me, and then I got too cheeky, then he tried to choke me out. And then I realized, don't get cheeky to Doug. So I learned early on that good cop, bad cop of the gym. You have the nice guy and the enforcer of the gym. So it's a beautiful balance, and to this day.
But that's on the exterior, because really Doug's quite a
Oh
nice
yeah,
guy.
Doug, of course. Yeah. No, he's a sweetheart. If you get to know him properly, before you get to know him, he'll put you through the paces. And I've told, I think, Sanchai, Wendy, everyone else that comes through, he'll test you to make sure you're a formidable, mana. He'll make sure you're ready. Yeah. But yeah, Doug's the man. He'll look after you. He'll actually give you a shirt off his back, and then try and hump you.
Mario's just been touched for 3 hours. Mario's just been touched up for 3 hours, so he knows all about it.
I just give it back to that, but he pushes back, and I'm like, fuck, don't want to. All right, carry on.
So, way back when it happened, why exactly did you choose CKB?
Why did I choose CKB? Good question. For me, as soon as I walked in the gym, I remember, this is the old gym, I walked in and it felt like what I've always seen on the countdowns or all the UFC pay-per-views, like a proper gym. It looked like a proper gym. And as soon as I walked in, the cage was right there. There was a lot of, big guys, good fighters, a lot of good technique, and just something I'd never seen in real life before. But then, I think when I came back to Auckland, I saw you on the couch, and you're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm living here. I moved here. And I could tell you were a little bit like, you might want to try these guys a little bit as well, or these guys. But I don't know, something about the feeling of the place. It just made me
true,
feel
I
like
did send him to another gym, Josh.
I never left. He
I
tried
was like,
to.
you might want to try a couple of other gyms.
I was like, nah, I like it right here. And I never left. And I think I'll put it down to the feeling, the way I felt about the place, the way I felt about, I wouldn't say necessarily you guys yet, but the way I felt about the vibe. I just felt like, I'm going to stay here. This is where I'm going to stay. And then eventually, I remember the first time we held pads, and I was like, I like this guy. He's all right. He's all right.
It's important because I think when you go into these sorts of places, you can feel something.
Facts.
There is something you can feel, especially if you know a little bit about fighting and the environment and you've been around the people.
Yeah, the culture. There's certain gyms I've been around the world, definitely, that I'm glad I didn't find this place first, because I might have stayed because of the facility, but I wouldn't have liked the vibe or the culture they had. So for me, I lucked out. I'll put it that way. I lucked out.
What can you, kind of summarize or tell us about the rest of the fighters in this gym?
Oh, A-class, world class. The thing is, as well for me, I keep saying, I think I just got some of the right opportunities, along with Dan, Brad, and Kai, a few others coming up now, that people got to see us now because we're on the world stage in the UFC. But on the national stage, and sometimes on the international stage, there's some guys like Carlos, like Selby, like BJ Bland, Henry, the Vake brothers, that haven't been seen yet because they're still in the works. But I'm telling you, man, I get my ass kicked, and he's seen it. I get my ass kicked a lot, and this is what keeps me humble, because a lot of people don't understand the actual meaning of that word. They think it's being fake, But when I'm humble is when, last night, I had, in my VO2 max workout, I had BJ and Frank Hickman on my ass the whole time. They would not let me rest. And he kept on talking shit, telling BJ, break him, use your will to break him. And I went, And then he took me down. And I got back up, and I tried to take him down. And I got sprawled on. My face hit the mat, ate sweat, and it was horrible. That's humbling. That's what lets you know, you ain't shit. But you still have to, find your way and keep pushing. And that's what, he couldn't break me, though. He never broke me. He tried, he never broke me.
Man, I think there's people would be so surprised at the talent in the gym.
Yeah.
There's guys here that could easily compete at the world-class level
100%.
in the UFC Middleweight division, light heavyweight division. They could go in there now, and me and him know with 100% assurance that they could beat some of the guys fighting now and compete at that level. But a lot of the sport is opportunity. There is working hard, and you've got to work hard to get what you want, but there is a certain amount of, I'm not going to say luck, but running into the right opportunity, creating the right opportunity, being in the right place. So a lot of these guys, they just need that. They do, and they will happen. They just got to, stay the course.
Trust the process.
But there's a lot of great fighters in here that the general public don't know about. But if you come in here on any given day, you'll see a lot of these UFC fighters getting their butt kicked by them. So, and that's part of the reason why they're able to be at the level that they are. is because you've got all these unknown guys that are just
Whooping ass.
destroying them every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of good fighters at this gym, a lot of great fighters that people don't know about. You've achieved a lot in martial arts so far. What are some of your highlights that perhaps that haven't been in the media like so much as of late? What are some of the highlights, the smaller highlights that perhaps people don't know about to you?
In my career,
Yeah.
in martial arts.
Yeah.
A big one that I think not the general public knows, the 3-time King of the Ring championship, being able to do that in 2 weight classes, you know, with you and Doug's guidance. But actually, you know what? I'll say a really important one that really like was a key mark one that let me know this is possible was my first 8-man in Pukekohe, where we got paid 6 months later. Nah, but like we got the belt that night and got a fake check. But just that moment, the first fight was a hard fight against Arita Gilbert, who you fought as well. And he's a hard fighter. He's a guy that he won't let up on you. And then I had a good second fight and a third fight with, I believe, Ed Ademiha. And there was a moment in the end of that fight where I think when it was the 3rd round, and I just called him on to elbow me, and he gave me one, and I was just like, and what? And he did another one, and then the fight ended, and I was still standing, and I just walked around with my hand raised. And I felt that was cool because I was able to win, but also know that this is possible. Oh, I got money for actually winning. So I think that's my first time getting that. So it was a key moment to let me know, like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Yeah, we're getting somewhere.
That was a great moment.
Yeah.
And like being in an 8-man is
Probably
probably one of the probably the hardest task you can do in combat sports is being in an 8-man. 3 kickboxing fights in one night.
Yeah.
And you know, if I'd be terribly honest, that's not the same as 3 MMA fights. Kickboxing, they're just doing this to you the whole time. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So that was a real highlight for both of us.
Yeah.
What's the best advice I've ever given you?
Ooh, it's a good one. I don't
Because
think
I've given a lot. Some of
Yes.
it you've heeded and some of it you've ignored.
I'm my own man. But
Is there anything that stands out?
there's one that I always come back to, and I don't think you even remember. So it was you driving, me riding shotgun, and Kryn, who was a little boy then in his car seat, and then we were going to Wendy's on Dominion Road.
Yeah.
And you asked him what he wanted. Do you remember this? Briefly?
No, I don't.
You asked me what I wanted, and then we were talking about, I think already we had a conversation about you having Terrell and him young, and I remember you gave me that advice because I asked, how'd you do it? As we were going through the drive-thru, and you go, mate, it always works out. Whatever it is, it always works out. And I've just ran with that for years. Like, even if I'm going, you know.
So you're talking about like how I had kids so
Yeah,
young?
and you said, I was like, how did you do it? Like, you had him when you were 17 or 18?
Yeah.
And I asked you how'd you go support. You just said, mate, it always works out. And I asked you another question about it, and he's like, it always works out no matter what. And I've just held on to that, even throughout my whole career. Whenever things were shit, whenever I wasn't, you know, getting money or wasn't getting fights or I was losing motivation, like this might not actually work, I might not actually realize this dream. I always had that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Well, Eugene said it always works out.
Well,
It's gonna work out.
it's not like when things are going wrong, it's not to get like stunted by those things. That it will work out.
Exactly.
And don't get discouraged by all those little obstacles that are in your way. I think that's definitely
If
what
only
I
you
was trying to get
remembered
at.
it. If only you remembered it would have been. But yeah, I remembered it. Luckily I did because it helped me a lot through some weird moments. Also, he doesn't want me to reproduce as well. He advised me not to have kids, so obviously he doesn't know what he's talking about. But that was one key advice that he gave me that I still hold on to till this day. And yeah, I probably will forever, and I'll pass it on to some other kid. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Os. Stay with the fight. Inside jokes. Roll out.